Hi friends, today we are going to discuss another design pattern called Scheduler Agent Supervisor pattern and the importance of each of these components. There are three components: Scheduler, Agent and Supervisor, and their importance is also in this order that Scheduler is the most important component, then comes the Agent, and then comes the Supervisor. Now, this pattern has been discussed or explained in a very complex fashion, but we are going to discuss it in very brief. So what happens is, if you want to do any particular piece of work, what you're going to do is you're going to do that piece of work. What you're going to do is you're going to divide that piece of work in small tasks, and you are going to do that piece of work. So this is task one, this is task two, this is task three, four, task five, and task six. So you have divided a complex piece of work in some subtasks, and you can say them as steps. They can be each step to complete a bigger workflow. And as I've already said, this sequence of steps or sequence of tasks can be called a workflow. So the application or the service or the component in this architecture which handles the sequence of tasks is called scheduler. It basically handles the task that is being done. Now, to maintain the state for high availability and fault tolerance, what you do is you are going to maintain the state of each task in a workflow. So for an order ID or for an ID or for a workflow ID, you are going to maintain which task has been done and what is the status for it. So this is the state store. This is state store. So you are going to store your state information for a particular step or for a particular task in the state store. And this is going to have which scheduler is processing the ID. We can say that SID, scheduler ID, which scheduler is processing the workflow, given workflow. What else would you need? You will have state, obviously. What is the state of a particular workflow? And it is going to be there's going to be entry for each workflow. For example, S1 is the ID, then T1 is the state, then complete by. You are going to keep complete by. We are going to visit why should we keep complete by. This is the time till which that particular workflow or that particular, not workflow, but that particular task should be completed. Then you should keep failure count, right? In this way. And so this scheduler ID is the ID of the scheduler which is processing your workflow. So this is the state store. And if your task wants to access any remote resource or wants to access any remote service, then what you're going to do is you're not going to access it directly. You will be accessing it via agent. You will have another service called agent or another component called agent. This service will be interacting with the remote service or remote resource. This helps in separating out the logic required to communicate with the remote service. There can be some logic through which you want to interact with the remote service. So that can be separated out in the agent, and your scheduler, which is running the complete workflow. For example, let's say in step 2, you want to access a particular agent, particular remote service. So you will be calling the agent which is responsible for interacting with remote service. So if you have multiple remote service, you have RS2, then you will have another set of agents, A2, which will interact with this. And for example, in step 5, if you have to interact with this remote service 2, so you will be interacting with agent 2. Now, obviously, there's going to be auto scaling or scaling, proper scaling in the agents as well, so that there is no single point of failure. And all the interactions between scheduler and agent are going to be buffered via request response queues. So agent is going to send its request. Scheduler is going to send its request to the agent in a message queue, and agent is going to respond back to the scheduler via message queue only. That way, agent will not be overwhelmed, and there is going to be scalable. We can implement scalable solution. For example, if you can have multiple agents which can talk to remote service, then they can each read from this message queue and can be scalable. So scheduler and agent interaction are always happening via message queue. You can implement other ways also, but that is the standard practice, or that has been told. And when you are when the scheduler is sending a particular request to an agent, then it is also sending some context in the message. That context also contains the complete by time of that task. This is the complete by time which has been stored with this particular task. So this was T2, for example. This was scheduler 1, so it is going to be S1. And the complete by task was, let's say, time 5 minutes ahead of the current time. So it is going to be some time, and this failure count is going to be 0. And the scheduler is going to ask the agent to do particular piece of work. And if there is some challenge for an agent to connect to remote service, then it can retry calling the remote service if the remote service is idempotent. If it is not idempotent, then it can send back the error via the messaging queue, so that task 3, so that scheduler can know that there is some transient or permanent error in the workflow, and then scheduler can update the status. So there can be scheduler can update the state for a particular task, right? It is also going to have status. So what is the current status of this task? Now, what is going to happen is all these components that we have discussed till now, scheduler, state store, agent, they are all independent services or independent components. State store is used to keep track of what all tasks have been done, what is the current status of that task, where that task is currently running, and by when this task will be completed. If the status of a particular task is not transitioned to success by till the complete time is fulfilled, then what is going to happen is scheduler knows that this task has failed. Either it will reassign this task, to some other agent, or it will mark that task as failure, right? There can be cases where your scheduler also can die. For example, if you have a use case, if for example your scheduler dies, what is going to happen? Since all the state information has been captured in your state store, then you are going to use another component called supervisor. Which is going to interact with the state store to check the health of the current tasks that are running. If there is any task whose complete by has been exceeded, and its status is still not success, then either it can reassign this basically reassign this workflow to some other scheduler. Supervisor can do this. Also, we have missed one thing. How is a scheduler picking a particular workflow? So what happens is a request comes it is it's stored in the that request is stored in the state store, and its scheduler ID is null. Now there are multiple schedulers that are running. Each is going to uh, let's uh, let's say this is stored in the database, and it is also populated in some message queue. There are multiple schedulers which are listening to this message queue. They are going to pick some task which is having uh, null scheduler ID. That means that this task is up for grabs. If scheduler ID is null, that means it is up for grabs. That means it can be picked up by one of the scheduler, or if the data is not present in the message queue, then scheduler can keep polling the state store to find task which to find workflow or task which needs to be done. Once it finds a workflow that needs to be done, it is going to do complete that workflow. And if, for example, a scheduler dies, then what is going to happen is supervisor is going to check if there is any task or any workflow whose SID is present but complete by time is well beyond current time of past time and status not complete. Then it is going to remove the SID present in the state store. It is going to increment the complete by time to some future value to keep track, that to let schedulers know that this is a new task that needs to be picked, and then again schedulers are going to repick this task, do that particular piece of work and get done with it. So this is, in my view, not a very comprehensive pattern. This can be used in multiple scenarios, but it complicates your system a lot. Please let me know your views in comments of if you are using this pattern. I know of some systems which use a scheduler, supervisor and agent pattern, but they are very different from this pattern. So let's see where this goes. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from it. Thank you and have a nice day.